Mayor Scott, the city is set to record its lowest number of homicides in some 48 years. What factors do you recognize that contributed to the decline?
Well, I think that we have to rewind the clock back, David. You and I have talked about this for a very long time, even from my time on the city council, when I said that the city needed a comprehensive approach to dealing with gun violence, not just through law enforcement, but through a public health approach. And when we laid out that comprehensive vision in 2021 and set that goal of reaching a 15% reduction every year, you know that it was not a very popular thing. But when you look at now us on the back end in this full implementation, there isn't just one thing. And I think people have to understand that. When you're talking about an issue as complicated as gun violence, as murder, as shooting someone, there is no silver bullet. It's all of the things. So when you think about our group violence reduction strategy, where we, like other cities around the country have been doing for quite some time, we identify those who are the most at risk, give folks who deserve an opportunity to change their life the opportunity to do that, and those who will not, we actually remove them from the neighborhoods. Not going back to the days of zero tolerance and saying that everyone is poor and black that live in this neighborhood is the most likely, but the people who are involved in those groups that are the folks that are driving the violence. And when you think about 94% of the people that we've been able to give another opportunity have not been re-victimized, and over 90% has not recidivated, you can see the impact there. When you think about the police department in my direction going out and seizing over 2,000 guns again, turning gun cases over. When you think about those gun cases then going to the Attorney General, the state's attorney, and their fabulous work that their attorneys are doing, are prosecuting these folks. When you think about the investments into community violence intervention, all of it works together side by side.
So you've got a public health approach, increased clearance rates by police, revamping police districts, targeted interventions. Who deserves the most credit? And can the city build on the current success without one of these approaches?
Baltimore deserves the credit. Everybody that works in that, every police officer, every violence intervention worker, every hospital responder, every frontline state's attorney or assistant attorney general, every single person that is working inside of the structure that we have. You have to continue to do all of it. One does not work with the other. We're talking about a crab cake that every single piece of that lump crab cake is what makes it taste good because it's from Coco's. You cannot take any part of it out. And that's why having this comprehensive approach, this all-in approach, investing in young people, investing in communities, reducing vacant housing to the level we have now under 13,000 vacant properties, a 24% reduction since 2020, and still have too many, right? But when you think about the improvements that we've had, when you see what's happening with our community violence intervention work, all of that work matters. When you think about the work that BPD does each and every day, all of it matters, not one thing, and everybody shares in the credit together.
Going forward, is there another crime-fighting strategy that you're considering to add to this approach that would specifically address quality of life crimes?
So I want to address this very clearly. When you're talking about the approach that we have, we're not ignoring quality of life crimes. When you look at the fact when you look at BPD's the drug arrests, they're up, right? That's because they are focused on those things. It's that we're doing it in a more intelligent way, or in the way that we're sharing intelligence. When you see the drug busts and the things that they're doing, that is how you get at that quality of life issue. And I think I'll just say this, at Tony Barksdale's funeral, a former police commissioner, Ed Norris, remarked a story about how he met some young cop when he came here, and he had ran up on the corner and arrested some corner boy, and the guy was so excited that he had been able to get this guy and arrest him with this amount of drugs. And then the former commissioner said, is the corner still going to be open tomorrow? Where did he get it from? Who supplied that person? That's the kind of mentality that you have to take, and we're going to continue to do that. But also, I think it's important to note that we still have 4 districts to even expand the group violence reduction strategy, and that's the push for next year, to have the strategy be citywide so that we can see that citywide impact.
And just to follow up on that, 4 more districts, that's
Yeah.
not very many. What is the timeline? What is the goal?
The timeline, we've been here before with GVRS. We will move at the appropriate pace. When you think about where the data says we should go, where the infrastructure is, not just from the policing standpoint, but from the community more voice standpoint. That's where we'll be going. We're going into the Northern District first, next, and then we will go, obviously, from there. We have the Northwest, the Southeast, and the Northeast to remain. The goal is to get through all of them by the end of the year, but we want to keep pushing and doing it the right way, the responsible way to expand as we have thus far.
And the expansion, will it come with existing resources? Do you need to add resources?
So we've been able to take resources into our own hands, moving some of the GVRS positions off of federal money for obvious reasons, and now we're just going to continue that. But this strategy also, we're going to be asking our partners at the state for help. We have great philanthropic investment, private investment into this strategy because people, not just here in Baltimore, but around the country are seeing that the strategy is working and are willing to invest in it.
In mid-December, you and a selected staff met with Ivan Bates and his selected staff, and it was billed, quoting your press office, as a productive conversation. But according to your press office, you agreed to, quote, engage directly with the state's attorney to advance the ongoing discussions between our offices. What did you accomplish other than to agree to another discussion? What are the sticking points? And if the state's attorney is not on board with everything, does that hinder continued success?
Well, I think to your last point first, right? We're going to set the strategy. We, as the mayor of Baltimore, I determine what the police departments focus on and what cases they are building and turning over to the state's attorney. Nothing can change that, right? That is just the reality. What our discussions were, as I said to the state's attorney then, I am not going to be talking about that publicly. We're going to have ongoing discussions, but I think what the residents of Baltimore should know first and foremost is that nothing will stop me from making sure that my folks are providing quality cases to the state's attorney. We're going to continue to do that great work. We're going to continue to GVRS, which is not does not solely rely on our relationship with him. The Attorney General of Maryland, the highest lawyer in the land, is a fully invested partner in that strategy. We're going to continue to move forward regardless as we work through whatever issues that we have at the state's attorney's office.
So, respecting your private conversation, can you tell us at least how far apart are you on any given issue?
I don't think that we're very far apart. I think that the reality is that I, as the CEO, will set what my agencies and what my police department is doing, and we will go working from there.
Can Monsey Safe Streets be effective without the state's attorney's cooperation or partnership?
Well, Safe Streets does not need the state's attorney's office to be successful. They've been successful all these many years. It's been studied multiple times. Anybody can read the study from one of the most trusted voices in gun violence reduction in this world, from Johns Hopkins, who has studied it multiple times, the last time at my request a few years ago. And Monsey is going to continue to do their great work every day, as they always have, right? When you think about, again, that the Attorney General of Maryland, the highest lawyer in the land, is still a vested partner with Monsey, nothing is going to stop our work.
How do you respond to public perception that you are feuding with Baltimore City Councilman and Public Safety Chair Mark Conway?
I don't, because I don't think that's public perception. I think that that's something that certain people want to make up. If folks want to have that happen, then that's on them. For me, I'm focused on the results that we're producing in Baltimore. What people's opinions about my relationship with somebody is theirs. I saw the councilman the other day, wished him a Merry Christmas for him and his wife and their lovely children, and that's it. As my grandmother would say, let the work I've done speak for me.
Your Annapolis legislation includes, in our words, cracking down on drivers who live locally but register their vehicles in Virginia. If that were to pass, how would the city enforce it?
Well, it's not just the city. Remember, this is a state law. This is not an issue just in the city of
But
Baltimore.
it's part of your legislative
It
agenda.
is, because it's an important issue for not just me, but I know for other county executives as well. We know this is a bill that folks in Annapolis have been pushing. You see it. You drive around the state a lot yourself, Dave. You know how irresponsible a lot of these drivers, in particular with Virginia tags, are. We know that our partners at the state have been working to improve and hold these folks accountable. This law that Delegate Addison is pushing will help the state do that even further, and we're just supporting that because it's important to me as the mayor of Baltimore, because it's important for our residents. Folks are tired of having their cars ran into by folks with Virginia tags and no insurance, and folks not being held accountable.
But how would it be enforced?
Well, that you got to remember, this is not something for the city to enforce, right? This is a state law that the state would be enforcing and BPD and our other agencies will be assisting in that and assisting, but NVA and our other partners will be taking the lead.
Overdose prevention is another legislative priority. Why does the city need enabling legislation to establish supervised consumption sites? And the Baltimore Police Department is now a city agency. Can't you instruct hands-off approach to establish sites?
Well, it's not just about that. It's about what's prohibited at state law. We don't want to do things that are going to be out of line with the state, and we know that this is something that's been pushed for many years, including by the now Speaker of the House. And if this bill is there again, we'll be pushing for it again.
But let me go back to my original question, though. Other cities have done this.
Right, other cities and other states who have different rules and regulations. New York, for example. And I think the most important portion about this, David, is that wherever you see these sites, you don't see overdoses, right? This is a common practice everywhere in the world, essentially, but the United States. We know they have it in Canada, they have it in Europe, obviously New York. And as someone who visited that location myself and went and talked to some folks who lived in an apartment building across the street who said, I thought this was going to bring more stuff, more needles to our playground, all of these things. And they said it's been the exact opposite. Now we don't have any of that. This has been a blessing for us. We have to evolve in this country how we think about substance abuse and catch up to the rest of the world. And OPS is just one part of that.
And on the same subject, so, I mean, obviously you support it. So there must be some areas that the city has in mind where it would be a good fit. And without giving us an address or anything, give us the nature of these types of sites. Would it be like a public health facility?
Yeah, essentially. I think that, but David, I don't think that you don't think about that. You let the data tell you where that stuff should come as you get there, right? I'm not a public health professional. We leave that kind of work up to the public health professionals. But when you go, if you visit, and you actually encourage that you do that, go to New York and visit. You can see. Oh, you saw it. So you see, it's like a real public health professional ran thing. Folks who want to get help or want to get clean, they can get that right there on the spot, right? And I think that folks have to understand that this just isn't some place where people, it's a shoot-up gathering. This is a place where folks are coming in who you are not going to right on the spot convince someone that has a severe addiction to say, yep, get clean. You only can do that when they're ready. But when they're ready, the only way that you can do that is if they're alive. If they are dying, and I want folks to also be reminded that people think about overdose as something that happens in alleys and streets and vacants. When you think about that in Baltimore, an enormous amount of folks are taking in drugs and overdosing in their own homes, right? We have to understand what that means. That means that we have to intervene in different ways. We have to be able to convince these folks when they're ready. But when you talk about overdose prevention sites, you're doing that opportunity where folks who have that addiction are going to use one way or another. You're allowing them to do that in a supervised way with public health professionals and others, and having the resources there when they are ready to get clean and for the other things that they need.
You support legislation to install and operate speed monitoring cameras anywhere you like, basically. Where do you believe they are needed?
Well, the data tells us that. When I go to community meetings and all of these things, one of the number one requests I get is for speed cameras. And I have to tell them that unlike some of the other counties in Maryland, we are prohibited for where we can put ours in. But when you see the videos of how people are running red lights and running through speed cameras and things that have happened. And we had a young man hit outside the library in Harford Road, not too far from my house, and some other. We're talking about providing safety. And I think that folks have to understand that. It's a very simple thing for us.
So you're talking about libraries, not just schools? And
School, it depends, right? Because I think that, David, when you limit it the way it is now, you limit the ability for it just to be as stringent around the safety. Because, for example, if DOT goes to a community meeting in North Baltimore or West Baltimore or South Baltimore and Cherry Hill, and folks are saying like, hey, people are driving 50, 60 miles down the street, and they go out and study and see that they are doing that, but it's not in the school zone, then they can't put the speed camera there, right? And they're limited in their scope. This is about allowing us to be able to respond to the data, where people are speeding, where people are abusing the rules and regulations, and creating a more safer environment. Because I think it's important to note, with the way that we've deployed our speed cameras and our red light cameras in the city now, you've seen pedestrian injuries and deaths plummet in the city, and we want to continue to see that.
You used data source a lot. What is the source of the data? I know it's going to be different, but I mean, if you believe that something needs a little bit more study, how does that work?
What do you mean? What are you talking about?
So
now?
you keep saying this is a data-driven.
Yeah, so I
what's
think
the
it's like
source of the data on a
yeah.
lot of
So when cameras go up, they go up because of requests, right? And what happens is DOT actually has folks that go out. They put things in the road. It tells you how fast people are going and whether it actually meets the standard or whether it should go there or not. That's what I'm talking about. And we have to continue. Right now, that can only, for cameras, it can only be limited within the school zones, is what I'm saying.
And generally speaking, not to be argumentative.
Yeah.
It's not like this makes common sense to do. It has to be data-driven.
So I think it is both. It is common sense, right? But it also should be data driven. They don't have to be mutually exclusive things, right? I think it can be both.
Several items on your legislative priorities will cost state money. And Maryland faces a $1.5 billion deficit, although the city delegation is likely to introduce bills increasing the highway user revenues, for example, and the state to remit a third of the 6% sales tax generated in the city. Now, if they were to pass, do you have any assurances from the governor that he wouldn't veto it? Because it's tight budget concerns. And these two items that I just mentioned, they failed in the past.
Well, HUR is about making sure that we maintain the funding levels that we have, right? And I think, you were around and you remember when HUR got cut, and for up until a few years ago, the city lost $900 million in highway user revenue funds, which goes into our roads, right? And we know that that's an issue. This issue is not just an issue for the city of Baltimore. This is a top issue for all my county executive counterparts and NACO, because we all went to Annapolis to fight to get this HUR funding back to the level which it is now, because we all were struggling. I vividly remember one of my colleagues from the Eastern Shore saying that their funding had been cut so much that they were using tar and chip to redo their roads. We have to maintain this level of funding in order for not just Baltimore City, but the counties also around the state of Maryland. And it's a very unique thing. We, of course, get the lion's share of HUR because unlike every other jurisdiction, we have to maintain all our other roads versus the state doing it for them. And I think that's something that we're going to continue to push. We will have those necessary conversations with the governor when and if those are needed.
What policy initiatives do you and the governor disagree on? Can't agree on everything, right?
Well, I don't know. As of right now, anything before us, we don't have any disagreement on. There will be. I disagree with my mother and my father, so I don't live in a world where I want anyone to agree with me all the time, right? And I think it's about how you have those disagreements and how you work through them for the people of Baltimore City and Maryland. But as of right now, we don't have policy discussions before us that we have big disagreements on.
How does extension of juvenile records to Monsi and others help become a game changer in the fight against juvenile crime?
Well, it's not. We had this agreement with Monsi, but of course it ran out. And you're talking about dealing with young people in youth violence and prevention, right? We started this youth violence stat, and we were able to get this data sharing agreement because that allows us to go deeper into the issues. But when you think about it this simple, let's just say Monsi and our folks are out there and they interact with a young person whose family may need some help, right? If the Mayor's Office of Children and Family Success can't have access to that data and the information about that family, how are they then going to connect them to the services that they need, right? That's the important part. When you think about the Mayor's Office of African American Male Engagement, who lead the work on squeegee and all these other things, they're the ones that are physically going out there and reaching and touching those young people. They need to have the appropriate information so that they know where to connect and how to connect them. And that's a simple thing that I think folks would agree with.
What is the realistic timeline for the Inner Harbor to be reimagined? Now, we heard that groundbreaking in the fall of 2026 is the timetable. The state announced $67 million commitment. Does the city have a dollar commitment that is already announced?
As we stated before, we have not yet been asked for any direct assistance. When that day comes, we can have that conversation, and the developers will be moving with their project now that they've made it through that big phase. And we're hopeful, and we believe in Mr. Bramble and his team, and that we'll have a reimagined Inner Harbor led and developed by someone who grew up in Baltimore, West Baltimore to be exact.
The city is retiming each traffic light in order to synchronize them. WBAL-TV reported the entire project, which started in 2023, will be completed in 2026. Is this still on schedule?
Still on schedule as of right now, and I know it's a long time coming from everybody that drives in Baltimore, including you and I, and we're just going to keep pushing Director Macbeth and the team at DOT to get that done.
I believe this before City Council right now. What is your take on more disclosure of the Baltimore Children and Youth Fund budget?
Well, we're having discussions about this. I think that David, I think that a lot of this conversation around the youth fund has really been pushed by some other media outlets that that don't have the same intentions as WBAL. But I want folks to hear this from me very clearly. There's been a lot said that, like, oh, the mayor made the youth fund give his office $7 million. No, that's just a lie. That money went to the Office of Employment Development, which is in Baltimore's history always been called the Mayor's Office of Employment Development for YouthWorks. Mm-hmm. And there is not a single Baltimorean that I've met that thought that $7 million of the Baltimore City Children and Youth Fund should not go to fund YouthWorks for 8,000 young people in Baltimore that have summer jobs. That is literally what the money should be going towards, and folks who are trying to tear that down should be ashamed of themselves.
The office of the mayor is now term limited, as you know. Okay. What public service options are you considering when your term is up? What would you like to do next?
That's a funny question. Well, first, as of right now, I'm running for re-election. So let's make sure, I can run again. But I think that for me, David, we're talking about now 19 years that I've been in City Hall, right? From an intern to the CEO. So I've been around a long time. It's so funny for me at 41, almost 42, to be the quote-unquote old guy on the block. But I think for me, who knows, right? When I think about what's next for me, I don't even limit myself to public office. I could see myself working in organizations around gun violence, or we have 2 great HBCUs in Baltimore that I would love to teach at. Maybe I'll come work at WBAL, maybe C4 will retire and then get a Mervo man in there to run his radio show. Who knows? The sky's the limit. And I think that the great thing about being able to accomplish your goals and work out and work and realizing your dreams is that you don't just have to accept any old thing that comes next. You can let your work speak for you. The residents of Baltimore will determine whether they want me to go to Congress or whatever. That will come when it comes. Right now, I'm focused on 2 things, 3 really. 1, being the best husband and father that I can be, and 2, making sure that I continue to be a great mayor for the city of Baltimore, work for my residents every day.
Now, you mentioned Congress. Does the 7th District attract you?
I think that, listen, as someone, I want to be very clear, I think many people know this. Congressman Kweisi Mfume literally gave me my voice. When I had surgery on my throat as a young man, and my uncle and I had CFL Stallion season tickets, one day I had really lost this confidence that you now see in my voice. And I had to go to the bathroom. And just so happens that Kweisi was the person that sat next to us at the game. And he said, he's going to take you. And he took me into that bathroom in Memorial Stadium, and you've been in those bathrooms, so you know what they were like. And he said, you have to remember who you come from. And you have to remember that you can be whatever you want to be. You want to be the mayor, you can be it. There is no way on this earth that I would ever run against that man.
Well, I'm talking about after he's gone.
But I also have so much of a deep admiration for him and for Congressman Cummings that obviously would be an attractive thing. But we'll see. Maybe not.
Okay. why do you believe the Ravens are going to beat the Steelers this week? And what will be the Ravens' keys to success?
Let the king eat. That's why we're going to win. We're going to win because the king will eat, and the Squealers don't have DK Metcalf. They don't have the explosiveness they're going to need. Our defense, that was much maligned by many folks at the beginning of the year, has really started to hit their stride. We're going to win the time of possession game. We're going to win a turnover game, and then we'll be hosting someone in round one of the playoffs at M&T Bank Stadium.
Awesome. I hope so.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.